Okay, we're definitely not in New Jersey anymore. This is actually in Florida. I'm staying with my friends John and Chris. There's Chris right there. John is a very enthusiastic collector of ancient objects. He's found lots of ancient artifacts in Florida and also in the Bahamas. You can see some of the things he's collected here. John's a very famous architect and designer of swimming pools and all sorts of things. So in order to go to, we're going to the Florida Everglades in a few days, and we're going to go fishing. So in order to do that, we have to create some jigs, which are a type of fish hook that is a combination of a rubber cast flexible piece. Actually, this is what one looks like here. So this is the actual thing we're going to be producing. And what are the kinds of fish that you can catch here, John?
We use these for snook and tarpon,
Uh-huh.
mostly big snook. And the Everglades is open today, yay, after our little COVID nightmare. So we're going to go down and have some fun and breathe some fresh air and see some of the beautiful Everglades.
Including manatee and...
Manatees, saltwater crocodiles, lots of bird life, rosette spoonbills, egrets, white pelicans are there this time of year. There's a migration of a couple different kinds of fish going on right now.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to go camp out on the beach and be the first people there in 2 months, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been all over the world, and the Everglades is my favorite place, and I'm excited to be taking Brian to go there.
No, it's going to be great. I've never been. Been to Florida, but never been to the Everglades.
Yeah, so we've got him holed up here in Little Lake Worth, and on his way back to Peru. The last time I saw him was 4 or 5 weeks ago in Egypt.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. Everything's starting to finally open up in this area, which is a great sign because it's been a real pain in the neck for the last 5 weeks of being more or less trapped. So he's got a very beautiful piece of property here, as you can see. He and Chris, lots of palms, and I don't know what this strange plant is that's growing up the palm. But sword plants and all sorts of things. So if you'd like, if you have any questions for me as regards ancient sites or megalithic stuff or whatever, go ahead and ask me. I'm very pleased to answer questions. John's going to get set up here, and then I'm going to assist him in the process of making these things. And who knows, you know, we'll be in the Everglades for a couple of days. Maybe we'll find ancient sites there, we just don't know.
We definitely will.
Oh, we will.
Indians.
What's that?
We'll be able to find some Calusa Indian sites.
Oh, really?
There's not much left. They didn't do any work in stone. All their artifacts are wood and shell and pottery. You're not allowed to even. You can pick it up and look at it and put it back down in place. And if we find some, if the tides are right, we'll be able to find some. I can take you to some sites. I can at least take you to some sites and show you how they lived.
Uh-huh.
And it's incredible. They're not well known. When people think of Indians in Florida, they think of Seminoles.
Right.
And the Seminoles were very late in the game. They were Civil War era. The Calusa were 1500s. They don't really know where they went. They ended up, the last of them ended up in Cuba. But they're an incredible civilization. They were very tall. They were 6 feet tall. They ate fish. Fairly warlike. They were incredible engineers. They cut canals, which I'm going to hopefully show Brian. They were cut in the 1500s when Ponce de Leon came through the straits, the Boca Straits, and found these canals. He asked the local Indians at the time who built these canals, and they said the ancient people. This
Ah.
is when Ponce came.
Uh-huh.
So there's 2 of these canals that I can show Brian, and hopefully we'll be able to do some YouTube if we have any.
Yeah, have a signal.
We will have signal.
Really?
Yeah.
In the Everglades?
Yeah. They have a tower there.
Oh.
They just put it in.
Well, and of course it's really flat here, so it makes life easier.
So, but the Calusa is my passion, as Brian knows, and not many people know about them. I have a very big collection of Calusa artifacts. As a matter of fact, Brian, chat for 2 minutes, and I'll go grab a few things.
Okay, great. Okay, so as I say, John's been a collector of ancient artifacts, and I'm actually going to show you one here that he pointed out. This, of course, is an old stone vessel that probably came off of a pirate ship or a ship of that kind of vintage. You can see the barnacles and things on it. And then this is most people would simply say is is a large shell of some kind, but in fact it was a weapon. So what the native people did is they simply hollowed out this side and then hollowed out this side, and then that became a very useful weapon for pounding people in the head. So that's simply, 99.9% of the people who would pick one of these up would simply say it's a broken shell. But John, as expertise, he grew up in this area, and he figured out that this clearly was an ancient, pre-Columbian, most likely, weapon of some kind. So now he's going to show us some other stuff.
So here's a box of just some stuff we've picked up through the years. That is going to our local museum. But this, while it looks just like a shell and nothing more, it's actually been worked all the way along the edges. And they use this for a spoon or a scoop. They would use this, they were farmers, and they would dig with this, or they would use this as a spoon. So this, you can see, well, you probably can't see from this camera, all these edges are worked.
Yeah, they're all polished too.
They're all polished.
Yeah. So if it was a natural artifact, these would be sharp edges, but they're all smooth, so polished.
This is another thing we found. This is a whalebone of a whale, dinosaur. This is very prehistoric, rare, hard to find. I found this diving down there.
Is that a vertebrae of some kind?
It's actually an ear bone.
Ear bone.
Yep.
Wow.
Here's another, the start of a spoon. Now they didn't finish this, but this would have been, they cut out this thing for this.
Ah.
So they use it as a spoon. This obviously didn't get finished. It's a rough piece.
Uh-huh.
But most people would think that was just a shell.
Yep. Polished edges.
Here's a really prized piece of mine. This they would use as a hand weapon.
Uh-huh.
But what's interesting about this piece, until there was influence from the Spanish, they never had this. They never left this guard on here. This is their interpretation of a hand guard from a Spanish sword.
Oh,
left
wow.
on their natural. And there's a couple of these in Washington in the Smithsonian, and that's where these are going. I have 2 of them, but that's what that is.
Huh.
Here's another spoon, and they leave this for their thumb
Right.
to go in there just like that. And here's a rough version of that.
Oh, with the hand guard.
And let's see what else is here. This is a toe, as I'm told. I don't know that much about dinosaurs, but I send this off to my buddy at the University of Florida, and he tells me that this is the toe of a raptor.
Wow.
And feel how heavy that is, Brian. I don't know if you get that camera, but
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely petrified. Heavy stone. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. There's one more thing.
Thank you, Fredo.
This is a pick that they would use for, digging, making their canoes. The way they made their canoes, they would take buttonwood or some kind of tropical hardwood, mahogany, and burn, get the log cut, and burn fires in the center of it, and then they refine it with a tool, a gouge like this, and then I have lots of other stuff to show you. But anyway, that's just a little quick cross section. And this one's not drilled, but oh yes, it is drilled. Okay, so you can see the drill mark, very, very small there. But this is a shark's tooth broken off, and they would make their necklaces out of that. And here is another cool drilled piece that they would use as decoration of coral, and it's drilled here, here, and here, and that's how they would tie it together with usually deer sinew they would use. I wasn't really prepared. I wasn't in a hurry to get it. That's a cross section.
That's why it's live.
That's why it's live.
Okay, well, it was just wanted to do this little impromptu live event for you, so that you know that I'm well, and I'm no longer in the cold area of the New York and New Jersey area. Approaching the tropics. I'm working my way down to Peru. How long that's going to take, still don't know, but at least I'm in a comfortable place. So if you have any questions, then please go ahead and proceed, or comments, or anything like that. Well, the Lima airport is still closed, and all the airports are still closed in Peru, and the borders are still closed. Okay, it's Durden, about the ancient civilizations and the ancient cataclysms. I recommend my book Aftershock, which is available at Amazon, both in ebook format and also paperback. Of what these people ate, obviously lots of seafood, you can tell. Thank you, JB, very kind of you. And so I've never been actually into the Everglades before. Growing up in Canada, I used to see shows about the Everglades on TV, but that's about as close as I've ever gotten. So this will be a great adventure, and hoping to be able to, I guess I won't be able to use the quadcopter. I bought a brand new one when I was in New Jersey. It's probably illegal in the Everglades, but
It is.
okay, but maybe around, well, of course you're scaring the birds and stuff like that. But maybe in locations around here I can get some sky shots with the quadcopter, so you can see things that maybe you've never been, if you've never been before. We are going to try to, or I'm going to try to get to Coral Castle. Presently it seems to be closed, but as things are opening up quite rapidly here in Florida, one of the more progressive states in the United States in terms of opening up to let people get out of their houses and maneuver around, then hopefully we'll get a chance to do that. Well, this has been this whole process been a terrible ordeal for many of us around the globe, and luckily now it's lifting. I know in different parts of the world it's lifting at different rates, but doing pretty well here in Florida so far, having just gotten in last night. The weather is ideal. It's not too hot, not at all cold or anything like that. I've been invited to go to Costa Rica, which would be good. And so that's gradually making the process of getting back to Peru. After that, I may actually go to Chile, but we'll see. It's a very fluid dynamic here. So all the best to all of you from sunny Florida. And John says cheers.